Kathy, if you would, please.
Great. Thank you, Ron. It's great to be here. Good evening, everyone. WNBA Finals ready to tip off Game 1. It's our 29th WNBA Final.
The WNBA was handed a miracle, a once-in-a-generation talent destined to elevate the league to new heights, a savior in sneakers poised to rewrite history and finally bring the organization the mainstream attention it had craved for nearly 3 decades. But now, that same miracle is threatening to tear the entire organization apart, exposing a dark, greedy underbelly of betrayal that has left its most loyal fans feeling like they've been stabbed in the back, discarded like yesterday's news. The one player meant to save the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, might be the very reason fans are now turning their backs on it, and the commissioner is caught right in the middle of a firestorm she seems completely unwilling or unable to extinguish. The league wanted attention, they prayed for relevance, but they clearly weren't prepared for the war that came with it. This isn't just about a game anymore, it's about the soul of a league, and the shocking truth is, it might already be for sale to the highest bidder, with its original supporters left out in the cold. The story being sold to the public is one of triumph, but the story being told in fan forums and quiet group chats is one of heartbreak and disgust. A story of a league that got everything it ever wanted, and, in the process, lost everything that truly mattered. The arrival of Caitlin Clark was supposed to be a rising tide that lifted all boats, a phenomenon that would bring new eyes to every team and every player. Instead, it's become a devastating tsunami of demand that's drowning the very people who kept the league afloat through decades of choppy waters. Before Clark, you could get a decent seat at a WNBA game for the price of a movie ticket, maybe $20 or $30. It was an accessible, family-friendly experience, a community gathering. But overnight, that all changed. When the Indiana Fever come to town, those same tickets don't just increase, they go into a geostationary orbit. We're talking about nosebleed seats, the ones tucked away in the highest corner of the arena that once went for $10, now fetching over $200, sometimes $300. Lower-level seats have skyrocketed from a reasonable $50 or $60 to well over $500. Sometimes even $1,000 on the predatory resale market. The defending champion Las Vegas Aces, a team stacked with superstars, saw the gold rush coming and immediately moved their game against the Fever from their home court, the 12,000-seat Michelob Ultra Arena, to the massive 18,000-seat T-Mobile Arena, home of the NHL's Golden Knights. They claimed it was to meet overwhelming fan demand, a generous act to let more people witness history. But the ticket prices told a different, more cynical story. The absolute cheapest available seats were hundreds of dollars, a price point completely unrecognizable and unattainable to the average WNBA fan just 1 year ago. This wasn't about making the game accessible. It was a calculated business decision to maximize profit from a single, fleeting phenomenon. It was a league-wide memo. The cash cow has arrived, and it's time to milk it for all it's worth. Teams like the Connecticut Sun and the Washington Mystics followed suit, moving their games against the Fever to much larger venues, all under the same guise of fan accommodation. But as the ticket prices soared into the stratosphere, a dark cloud was forming on the ground, a wave of outrage and disillusionment from the people who mattered most. And it's a storm that nobody in the league office seems willing to acknowledge, let alone navigate. For every new fan drawn in by the Caitlin Clark spectacle, an old one is being brutally pushed out the door, their loyalty cast aside for a fatter wallet. A sense of deep, profound betrayal is festering among the WNBA's core supporters. The diehards who showed up for years to cheer in half-empty arenas on a Tuesday night. They were the lifeblood of the league. the community that kept the lights on through uncertain times, the ones who believed in the product long before it was popular. Now, they are being treated like strangers in their own home, their decades of support rendered meaningless in the face of a get-rich-quick opportunity. Social media platforms are flooded with heartbreaking stories from longtime season ticket holders who can no longer afford to go to the one game everyone wants to see, or worse, are being priced out of their season tickets entirely because the cost of the single Fever game inflates the entire package to an untenable price. The message they're receiving from the league, whether intended or not, is loud and clear. Your loyalty meant nothing. We have newer, wealthier fans now. Your 20 years of dedication is worth less than the credit card of a first-time spectator. This feeling of being discarded has ignited a quiet but powerful boycott. It's not an organized movement with signs and protests. It's a boycott of the heart, a silent protest of disengagement. Fans are refusing to pay these exorbitant, insulting prices on principle, choosing to watch from home rather than participate in a system they feel has abandoned them. They've coined the term loyalty tax, a cruel punishment for their years of unwavering dedication. This isn't just about money. It's a matter of respect, a question of a league's character. And as the fans cried foul, their anger and confusion turned towards the one person who was supposed to be their advocate, the one person with the power to intervene. But her response, or rather, her complete lack of one, would only pour gasoline on the fire. All eyes are on WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, the woman tasked with steering the league through this unprecedented and precarious boom. In public, she's all smiles, a corporate executive celebrating the record-breaking viewership numbers and the sold-out arenas. In every interview, she calls the Clark effect a movement and praises the newfound attention as a victory for women's sports. But behind the polished corporate speak and the carefully crafted PR statements, a deafening silence hangs over the very real issue of ticket prices and the widespread alienation of the fan base. She has yet to publicly address the concerns of longtime supporters, offer any potential solutions, or even acknowledge their pain. This silence is being interpreted in one of two ways, and neither is good for the league's image. Is she completely powerless? A figurehead leader who has no control over the individual pricing decisions of the 12 team owners who are her bosses? Or is she complicit, quietly endorsing this aggressive league-wide cash grab because it inflates the league's revenue numbers and makes her look like a visionary leader on paper? Many fans and critics suspect the latter. Engelbert is the former CEO of Deloitte. She understands business, balance sheets, and shareholder value better than anyone. And the business of the WNBA is suddenly booming. By allowing teams to charge whatever the market will bear, she ensures the league's valuation skyrockets, which in turn strengthens her position and the league's leverage in upcoming media rights negotiations. But this strategy is proving to be incredibly short-sighted and potentially catastrophic. She's overseeing a league that is actively and openly punishing its most loyal customers. Her refusal to step in and mediate feels less like a strategic decision and more like a complete abandonment of her responsibility to the game, its history, and its community. The leadership vacuum she has created is being filled with anger, suspicion, and a growing sense that the league's front office has been hijacked by corporate greed. But the silence from the top was only making another, even more sensitive problem worse, a problem brewing not in the stands, but inside the locker rooms themselves. The explosion in revenue from tickets, merchandise, and media attention has exposed a shocking and deeply uncomfortable truth within the WNBA. The players, the actual stars of the show, are not the ones getting rich from this newfound wealth. While owners, ticket brokers, and the league itself are raking in millions of dollars off Caitlin Clark's name, the athletes themselves are bound by a rigid and notoriously outdated pay structure defined by their collective bargaining agreement. Clark, the biggest draw in the sport's history, a player single-handedly selling out arenas across the country, is earning a rookie salary of just over $76,000 a year. That number is not just jarring, it's insulting when you consider that a single courtside seat to one of her games can sell for thousands of dollars. The league's total revenue from one sold-out arena on a single night likely dwarfs the combined annual salaries of several players on the court. This massive, unconscionable disparity creates a tense and unspoken reality in the league. Veterans who have dedicated their entire careers to building the Wnba, playing overseas in the off-season just to make ends meet, are watching a rookie generate unimaginable wealth for the owners, while their own paychecks remain stubbornly, frustratingly low. While most players publicly welcome the new attention Clark brings, recognizing its long-term benefits, it's impossible to ignore the undercurrent of potential resentment. They see the money pouring in, but the system is designed to keep it concentrated at the very top, in the hands of the owners. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. It's about a fundamentally broken economic model where the stars on the court are the last to benefit from the immense value they create. It's a dirty little secret the WNBA would rather you not think about, and it provides the perfect cover for what the team owners are doing behind the scenes, something far more calculated and cynical than anyone realized. This isn't just a simple organic case of supply and demand. This is a cold, calculated operation run by team owners using sophisticated tools to squeeze every last cent out of the public's excitement. The primary weapon in their arsenal is dynamic pricing, an algorithm-based system that constantly and automatically adjusts ticket prices based on real-time demand. It's the same predatory technology that airlines use to hike up flight costs during the holidays, or that ride-sharing apps use to implement surge pricing during a storm. It's designed for one purpose: to find the absolute maximum price a consumer is willing to pay and extract it. When thousands of people search for tickets to an Indiana Fever game, the algorithm detects the surge and instantly inflates the prices, second by second. There is no set price. There is only what the machine determines it can get away with. This turns the simple act of buying a ticket into a stressful, high-stakes gamble. But it gets worse. The league and its teams have an incredibly cozy and profitable relationship with the secondary market, platforms like Ticketmaster and StubHub. While they publicly condemn scalpers and unofficial resellers, they benefit immensely from the official resale market, where season ticket holders can resell their tickets at inflated prices. And the teams and the platform both get a second cut of the profit. This entire system transforms fans from cherished supporters into mere data points, cogs in a machine designed to maximize revenue at all costs. The community aspect of attending a game is being systematically dismantled and replaced by a sterile corporate transaction. The owners are no longer selling a sport. They are selling a luxury product, an exclusive event. And they've made the cold calculation that long-term fan loyalty is a less valuable asset than short-term, explosive profits. And while the teams were busy counting their newfound cash, another powerful institution was helping them keep the ugly side of this story buried. If you only consumed mainstream sports media, you'd think the Caitlin Clark story was a flawless, unblemished victory for the WNBA. Every headline from major outlets like ESPN and ABC is about the record-shattering TV ratings, the sold-out arenas, and the celebrity-filled courtside crowds. It's a universally positive narrative. a feel-good story of a league finally getting its long-overdue moment in the sun. But this carefully curated and relentlessly pushed story conveniently ignores the growing chorus of angry and disenfranchised fans who feel left behind. Where are the in-depth investigative reports on the families being priced out of the sport they love? Where are the tough, pointed questions for Commissioner Engelbert about her plan, if any, to protect the league's core audience? The silence from the major media outlets is deafening, and it points to an undeniable level of media complicity. The networks that broadcast WNBA games, particularly ESPN and its parent company Disney, are major financial partners. They have invested millions, soon to be billions, into the league's success, and it's simply not in their best interest to air its dirty laundry. Negative stories about fan boycotts, price gouging, and player pay disparity are bad for business and could damage the shiny new product they're trying to sell to advertisers. As a result, the narrative remains overwhelmingly one-sided, painting a picture of pure, unadulterated success. The league is allowed to control the story, presenting the boom as a win for everyone, while sweeping the victims of this new economic reality under the rug. It's a masterful piece of public relations, but this carefully crafted narrative is a house of cards, built on a foundation of fan resentment, and the league is making a dangerous gamble that could cost them everything they've worked for. The WNBA is playing a high-stakes game of poker, and it's betting the entire future of the league on a single card: Caitlin Clark. The current strategy appears to be a strip mining operation. Extract as much value and cash as possible, as quickly as possible, from the unprecedented hype surrounding her, with little to no regard for the long-term consequences. But what happens when that hype inevitably cools down, as all hype does? What happens if, God forbid, she suffers a major injury that sidelines her for an entire season? The league is currently burning bridges with its most reliable and dedicated customers, the fans who would still be there, buying tickets and merchandise long after the casual, trend-driven crowds have moved on to the next big thing. By catering exclusively to the highest bidder and the celebrity spectator, they are creating a fan base of temporary event-goers, not a sustainable community of loyal supporters. Event-goers are fickle. They chase hype. Loyal fans build a culture. The league is actively trading culture for cash. When the arenas are no longer guaranteed to sell out for every game, who will be left to buy the tickets? Will it be the longtime fans who now feel ignored, disrespected, and taken for granted? It's highly unlikely. The league is risking a future of empty seats on a Wednesday night and a hollowed-out fan base for a quick and massive payday today. They are building a beautiful new house on a foundation of sand, forgetting that loyalty is earned over years, not bought in a single, frenzied season. This gold rush could very easily lead to a ghost town, leaving the WNBA in a far more precarious and lonely position than it was in before its supposed savior ever arrived on the scene. In the end, the story of the WNBA's current crisis is a tragic and infuriating paradox. The league finally got the transcendent superstar it needed to capture the world's attention, but it was completely and utterly unprepared for the consequences of that success. This tidal wave of interest has exposed a league that appears to value profit over people, revenue over respect, and the bottom line over its own soul. The commissioner is trapped between appeasing a handful of greedy owners and protecting the thousands of fans she has chosen to ignore. The players are generating millions in new value while being forced to subsist on the same old crumbs. And the fans, the very people who built this league with their unwavering support and their hard-earned money, are being told in no uncertain terms that they are no longer welcome unless they can pay the new exorbitant price of admission. The Wnba finally got the world to watch, but they may have done it by sacrificing the heart and character of their sport. The ultimate question is not whether the league can sustain this growth, but whether it will have any real, authentic fans left when the dust inevitably settles. Will this golden era be remembered not for the records broken on the court, but for the community that was broken off of it? The league finally got its moment in the spotlight, but when the bright lights eventually fade, will anyone who truly cared still be there to watch?